In 1969, man walked on the moon. The age of Aquarius was celebrated in Woodstock. Nixon occupied the White House, and the war in Vietnam raged on. It also marked the beginning of Chuck Noll's remarkable coaching career in Pittsburgh. In 23 seasons, Noll coached the very best, Hall of Famers, and achieved the remarkable, turning the hapless Steelers into Super Bowl champions. But the glory days have been replaced by the long days. And Chuck Noll is left wondering about his future. 3 seasons ago, Sam White had Cincinnati on the verge of winning the Super Bowl. Now the Bengals are in disarray, and this innovative coach is a man looking for answers. Today again, it's White versus Noll. Could it be their final meeting?
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Earlier this season, the Steelers defeated the Bengals in overtime. Today, the rematch. It is sunny and very cold in Pittsburgh. The playing conditions at kickoff time are good. Good afternoon, everyone. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. As you're well aware, this game has no playoff implications, but it could affect the futures of the competing coaches, Chuck Noll and Sam White. Neither is certain he'll be back next season. Chuck Noll is fond of saying that players win games and coaches lose them. But Chuck's changing pictures today, trying to rally his team.
Yeah, for the first time in 8 weeks, Bubby Brister starts at quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Chuck Noll told us yesterday, Bubby Brister is the healthier of the 2 quarterbacks. Bubby told us the incident last week in Houston was overblown. Joe Walton asked him to go in the game. He refused, said that Neil O'Donnell was healthy, didn't want to mop up. He also told Chuck Noll, if you had asked me to go in, I would have gone in. He starts today for the first time in 8 weeks.
Sam White says one thing we've learned is that misery doesn't love company, and Sam's problems right now center around his defense, which is rated number 28 and last in the NFL. And if Sam does come back, Trump, there's a pretty good chance perhaps his defensive coaches may not.
Yeah, I think that's the conventional wisdom, that in Cincinnati, Sam White will stay, the defensive staff will go. And I think if the defensive staff goes, if management hires the new defensive staff, then Sam White has a very tough choice to make. If Sam White hires his own defensive staff, I think Sam White will stay as the head coach. As to the Chuck Noll situation, I frankly think it's been misread by the press here in Pittsburgh. I think Chuck Noll will be here and be here for a long time. Will leave on his own terms in no hurry.
Steelers have won the toss, and they will receive to start the game. Johnson is the kickoff man for Cincinnati, and the deep man for the Pittsburgh Steelers is one of the very best, number 26, Rod Woodson. They're all pro cornerback and kick returner. And here is Johnson, who kicked for national championship team at BYU, hitting it downfield and on the one hop. Woodson crosses the 20-yard line and breaks it to the outside. He's across the 30 and all the way out to the 38-yard line.
Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler bring you this NFL Game of the Month. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
So the Steelers with Brister at quarterback, and he's been out since the Giant game, that Monday night game when he was banged up, and Neil O'Donnell, the second-year player, came in and almost rallied the Steelers to victory. The Giants winning that game in overtime, but Brister back at work now, has had limited playing time this season. O'Donnell is regarded as a real up-and-coming player for Pittsburgh, but Brister with the start today, and he gives on the first play to Merrill Hodge, his big back from Idaho State, who's been so durable. The offensive line includes a first-time starter in rookie Ariel Solomon from Colorado at left guard. Dermontti Dawson, the center, is the Steelers' best offensive lineman. Ilkin has been a Pro Bowl player at right tackle. Warren Williams starts at running back with Hodge. Mills, a rookie who is one wide out, starting for the injured Lewis Lips. Dwight Stone, the deep speed, and Adrian Cooper, a rookie tight end. It is 2nd down and 6 now for Pittsburgh, all on the 43-yard line. Swing pass goes to Hodge. And he turns it upfield and breaks it across midfield and comes inside the 45-yard line of the Steelers. It's a first down. Of the Bengals, it's a first down for the Steelers. Fulcher knocked them out of bounds. Front seven of the Bengals, they have only 16 sacks this season. Only the Rams have recorded fewer. They have just 13. Lamar Rogers, a rookie from Auburn, starting at defensive end. Worley now goes in the game. There's the secondary for the Bengals. Wayne Haddock's a recent acquisition, starting at left corner. Fulcher, a three-time All-Pro player, not having a good season. Trying to get back in form. He's been nicked. Shoulder injuries and knee injuries. And it's first down, Pittsburgh. And penalty markers are down, and it might be the tight end Adrian Cooper in motion early, Trump.
I think you called it. It is Adrian Cooper.
False start, 87 offense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
You would expect something like that to happen, though, with Bubby Brister in there for the first time in 8 weeks. Each quarterback, he and O'Donnell certainly have different snap counts, different rhythms when they stand underneath the center. But this offense of the Pittsburgh Steelers struggled offensively in the first quarter with Joe Walton as the coordinator. Scored very few points in the first quarter, which has put them in a position where they got to come from behind in almost every single game.
Brister with 6 touchdown throws and 7 interceptions in his previous playing time. Rolling out on a reverse, and he goes to his tight end, Adrian Cooper, and he breaks it inside the 25, inside the 15. Adrian Cooper heads in. Touchdown Steelers. 47 yards.
No tackling by the Bengals. 0 tackling by the Bengals. That's a play that's designed for 6 or 8 yards. It's the sprint. Now, the first guy who doesn't get him is David Fulcher. Then there's Eric Thomas, 22. Both of them miss him. Well, that's awful easy. And for the first time in I don't know how many weeks, the Pittsburgh Steelers score a touchdown in the first quarter on their opening drive.
They played, as you know, Trump, with no emotion last week at Houston. Coming out a spirited team today. Breaking it down the field, the payoff throw, and a 47-yard pass-catch combination with the run. It's 7-0 Pittsburgh over Cincinnati. Three plays, and the Steelers are in the end zone with rookie Adrian Cooper, their tight end, on the payoff end. A 47-yard pass play combining with Bubby Brister. A reminder, at the conclusion of today's game, we'll be presenting the Avis We Try Harder Award, which will be given to the game's MVP.
Don, that was the first time that the Steelers had scored on the opening drive since the Philadelphia Eagles game, I think, in week 4 of the NFL season, this season.
And here is Anderson now kicking off for the Steelers. He hits it downfield. The ball is taken by Mitchell Price. And he's across the 25-yard line. Taken down by Jeff Brady, number 94. And here comes Boomer Esiason, ready to quarterback the Bengals. The offensive line in disarray. The great Anthony Munoz out for the season with an elbow injury. Kirk Scrafford starts for him. Gazurski's moved to guard. Mike Arthur, they like him at center, a young player from Texas A&M. Moyer and Walter on the right side. Harold Green, a rising player at running back. Greg Taylor in there with him from West Virginia. McGee and Brown still deep threats, but not having good years, nor is tight end Rodney Holman. On first down, Boomer airs it out with a strike out to the 42-yard line. A gain of 14 yards on the play. Hardy Nickerson, number 54, the leading tackler for the Steelers, makes the stop, but 14 yards downfield from.
Nothing to this pattern, just down and stop. You can see a very soft coverage by 44 Johnson. And he was respecting Eddie Brown's deep speed. Easy completion for Boomer Esiason.
Esiason was very open, saying they will attack David Johnson. Here's an errant throw now, as running the near sideline was Mike Barber, and he was open, but there was heat on Esiason, so he triggered it a little bit too far in front. Front seven for the Steelers. Willis is their leading sacker with 7. Bengals have always had trouble blocking him. Linebackers are solid. Johnson is the target because Rod Woodson's a Pro Bowl player, right corner. Lake and Everett the safeties. Here's Harold Green, and he goes out of bounds. Run out by Keith Willis. On a first down play, there's virtually no gain. Might have lost a half yard on the play.
So you can see if Boomer's record this year in our conversation with him yesterday. He admitted he's not had a good year, but was willing to point the finger at a lot of other people. Was not happy with the performance of the defense on the other side of the ball. He said, look, I have not played well, but the guys on the other side of the ball have put us in a tough spot all season long.
Well, as mentioned, they are 28th and last are the Bengals in team defense and last in pass defense. Esiason now on 3rd down and 10. Lofts the ball downfield, and Eddie Brown has it on the run, and he's all the way down inside the 20-yard line. But there is, Trump, a marker down at the line of scrimmage.
Well executed by the Bengals.
Was it?
Boomer Esiason is walking to the sideline like this is going to come back. We'll see.
Illegal forward pass.
Yep.
Thrown from beyond the line of scrimmage. Penalty is 5 yards from the start of the
Gordon
pass.
McCarter, the referee.
That is a loss of down, so that's why Boomer Esiason was walking to the sideline. He knew it. It was well done. You see the umpire standing right there in the dark hat. He's the one who watches. So 3 downs and out for the Cincinnati Bengals. This is not the way Sam Whites or Boomer Esiason wanted this game to start against Pittsburgh.
Lee Johnson, the punter, and a good one. And back deep is the best punt return man in the American Conference, Rod Woodson, averaging 12 yards a return. The man that Sam White once called the best kick returner I'll ever see. Not well hit, a knuckleball. It'll be tough to field, and Woodson loses the ball. It's free. Looks like Pittsburgh has it, but inside their 20-yard line. Richard Shelton was the guy who got it.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Starter. Look for the stars and you'll find Starter. By Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around. By Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when. And by John Newbean and Company, quality tax-free investment since 1898.
Great River Stadium always sold out for the Steelers, but a lot of no-shows today as the handoff goes to Warren Williams on a first down carry. He's ahead for just 2 yards out to the 20. And on a tackle for the Bengals on the play was the nose tackle, Tim Crumride. As we look at the Dr. Pepper 10-minute ticker, Atlanta with a safety, Trump, out in front of Seattle. The Falcons in position to win their way to an NFC Western title. New England's gone up in front of the favored Jets 3-0. They're playing on the Jets' home field. We'll be updating you on the scores and the playoff ramifications. Patriots, a tough team to contend with. Good on defense and rising on offense. Brister changes the play on a 2nd and 8.
There's 10 guys within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage, Don.
He gets time and airs it out. Going for the ball is Dwight Stone. He did not have possession, bobbled it, then lost it going out of bounds as Brister was right on target with the deep throw.
Well, he audibled correctly. He was looking for single coverage. Haddock's 45 of the Cincinnati Bengals had Stone, and Stoney is the fastest Pittsburgh Steeler. They almost make the completion. We've talked badly about the Bengal defense, but against the rush, they've been pretty good, about 3.6 per carry. But it almost appears as on this defense you can throw at will. Anytime you want, anywhere you want, to anyone you want.
They're last, as mentioned, on defense and last in pass defense. On 3rd down and 8, Brister has time again, counts the house and lets it fly. He's got a strong arm, and he puts some pop on that line drive throw. That's good for a first down out to the 35-yard line. Lewis Lips makes the reception, a 15-yard gain. Wayne Haddock's 45 makes the tackle.
How about the time to throw this one? That's 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves. And then finally Bubby finds him. That's the other part of the equation for the Bengals defense. They get no pass rush. I'm talking 0 pass rush, and the quarterback can back there knit a sock, then throw the football.
The start of Brister is certainly no indictment of the young quarterback, Neil O'Donnell. Not only is everybody in the Steeler organization really elated with what they have in O'Donnell, but the people around the league are all talking about him. True threw for 11 touchdowns and only 7 interceptions. He showed that he has a big future, and here is Tim Worley breaking it ahead. Worley with his first carry has the ball knocked free, and let's see if the Bengals have it as they signaled they have.
Tim Worley's had an awful lot of problems this area. There you see him 38, but last year, this kid has a world of talent. He could not hang on to the football. And then the first time he carries it because of injury and other things in the 1991 season, he puts it on the ground. Let's see what happens. See if we can figure out who hits it. 33 helps on one side. Looked like Barney Bussey on the other side made the hit, and the ball again is on the ground. If there's one thing that has consistently happened to Tim Worley, he has put the ball on the ground. Oh, it's Eric Thomas, 22, who gets his helmet in there. First turnover for Cincinnati.
So Worley's first carry was impressive until he got hit. And now, the nemesis of the Bengals, the turnover, and they benefit by this one as they go on offense, trailing 7-0. From the 44, Harold Green looks to turn it upfield. A big strike. Artie Nickerson, number 54, who was an All-American linebacker at Cal Berkeley. A very smart young guy who plays heads-up football and has really been a standout all season long in just his 4th year.
So far in the run, the Bengals have tried to go to the corner of the Pittsburgh defense a couple of times. It has not worked. Not worked at all. This is not a big defense that Pittsburgh puts up there. They're very active.
Now Boomer goes in the shotgun on 2nd down, and he needs 14. Open man on the run is Mike Barber, and he coughs it up. They might rule him down, Trump.
Boy, did he get nailed. Looked like Gerald Williams came from the nose tackle.
And in fairness to Worley, who fumbled a bit ago, he took a cannon shot.
Yes, he did. He is ruled down on the field. Watch 98. He goes for the pass rush, then turns around and heads upfield. Barber makes a great catch. No, it's Lloyd, 95, who makes the hit.
Now to live action, and Boomer dumps it off, and they're going to rule a forward pass. Steelers are protesting grounding. Illegal forward pass. Boomer's been guilty of one of those today when he threw for a big game, but he threw just over the line of scrimmage, and there's another marker down.
Yeah, that was too many men on the field. The Bengals have tried over the last several years to discourage defenses from making substitutions. The rule is, if the offense doesn't substitute, the defense can't. They run the set alert, and they catch too many men on the field, and it's a cheap 5 yards. Infuriates defensive coordinators.
You talked, Trump, about Esiason and his very pointed criticism of some of his teammates, and in fairness to him, it should be pointed out, he had maybe his most severe criticism of himself.
Absolutely.
And one thing that was very evident when you talked to all the Bengals that we were with yesterday, there was no criticism of the coaching staffs. They put the blame on themselves that they just not executed.
12 men on defense, 5 yards, first down.
You know, the Steelers get caught with an extra man. And the Bengals move on with the penalty yardage inside the Pittsburgh 35-yard line down to the 33. Hand off to James Brooks. Another free ball. It'll be Cincinnati's ball because no Steeler had possessed this Artie Nickerson. I'll tell you, he's knocking people from into next week out there.
Loops. I think loops. So far, the outside run has not worked for Cincinnati at all. I don't think they've gained a yard yet going out on the corner. That was James Brooks on that carry. At some point, you got to think they come back inside a little bit here. But they've been in the passing situation again now. 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13.
2nd and 14, actually, where they spot the ball at the 39-yard line. 7-0 Steelers. They scored on a 47-yard pass play. Brister to Cooper. Esiason on target with an out pattern, throwing to Eddie Brown. He's taken out of bounds by Brian Hinkle, number 53, an outside backer.
An interesting formation there. You see Eddie Brown flanked out wide right, Hinkle underneath. Brown does a good job of concentrating on the football, but they had 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and James Brooks, the lone running back, was up in a slot. They had nobody back there with Boomer Esiason.
down, as you see, with 50 catches for the season now. 2 for touchdowns. Third down, and the Bengals need 9. That unusual, seemingly disorganized play calling system, but it's produced the #1 offense in the NFL in recent years. Ball is slapped back at Esiason. David Little, number 50. An inside linebacker who's been a very important part of the Steelers for his 10 seasons. Knocked it right back.
The receiver, Mike Barber, was wide open, too. Little did a great job getting his hands up. Boomer telegraphed where that ball was going. So Jim Breach is on the field for a field goal attempt. This is a healthy one, but the wind is at his back.
He hit a 51-yarder against the Dolphins Monday night. Breach having a real good year. Jim Breach has hit 20 of 23 field goal tries this season. Looks like somebody got a piece of it. It's going to be way short. So the Steelers dodge the bullet, and they start up after the play. Looked like Rod Woodson might have got a piece of the ball. After the fumble by Worley, the Bengals failed to capitalize. The Dr. Pepper 10-minute ticker, the Cleveland Browns and a Kozar touchdown pass have gone in front of Houston. And Dallas taking a 5-0 lead over the Eagles at Philadelphia, where they've not won in a long time, have the Cowboys. The Charlie Bauman field goal keeps the Patriots up on the Jets. The Steelers now go 1st and 10. The handoff is to Merrill Hodge. And that hallmark blocking of the Steelers, the trap blocking, sends Hodge ahead, but also down with an ankle injury. Well, you almost have to hit this guy with an axe to get him out of the lineup.
Well, he grabbed his ankle quickly, too. This is the vintage Pittsburgh offense. You see both Hazelrig, 77, Tunchilkin, 62, pull. There's the end of it. Let's see what happens. Which ankle does he grab? He grabs his left ankle, which Fulcher tackled him by. See, he's a little ginger on that. Walking a little gingerly on that ankle. You're right, though. A tough dude.
Maybe the best 10th round draft choice the Steelers have ever made. Here is a throw and a catch. Mills, a first-year player from Florida who they're waiting for some bigger production from, comes up with a big reception. Lewis Billups is the tackler on the play, knocking him out. But the gain is downfield, and the Bengals drive on with a 1st down.
Have they had an incompletion yet, Don?
I don't think so.
There was one that the receiver was out of bounds.
Yeah, that was the only one to Stone when he bobbled the ball and lost it.
It doesn't work this well in 7-on-7 on Thursday, you know. Brister is 4 of 5. Those guys are wearing different colored helmets. You're not supposed to be able to complete 4 out of 5 for 91 yards and a touchdown.
Bengals have been tough on the Steelers. They've beaten Pittsburgh 6 of the last 7 meetings. Pittsburgh has mentioned one earlier this season in overtime. The throw by Brister is completed to Warren Williams, and Carl Zander makes the stop.
That's 5 of 6 now for Bubby Brister. And I haven't seen much coverage yet. Brister, when he talked to us yesterday, he wanted to make it clear that he didn't make a big deal about not going into the game last week. He said it would, if he made a mistake, he said, mentioning mop-up, I shouldn't have done. All the rest of it.
But what about the statement he made if Chuck Noll had asked me, I would have gone in?
I think that speaks to Joe Walton, not to Chuck Noll.
Second down, handoff to Merrill Hodge. The ankle well, and the big back from Idaho State thunders ahead for a 1st down for the Steelers. They lead the game 7-0. We have 5 minutes and 6 seconds to play in the 1st quarter. Barney Bussey, the safety, was the tackler.
The Bucket Brigade. We don't mop up for nobody. Well, he starts this week. And, of course, Bubby out with that knee injury for 8 weeks. He's on the final year of a contract. This is a very, very disheartening injury and season for Bubby Brister. He thought he was going to get a big contract, but not so sure now.
Pitch back. Williams from Miami of Florida, a quick back, takes it down to the 29-yard line. They'll spot him at the 30. Lamar Rogers, who the Bengals are waiting for more production from, a defensive end, a first-year player from Auburn, a second-round draft choice. Big Lamar, number 79, getting the start now. You talked about the poor pass coverage of the Bengals, Trump, but as we all know, pass coverage starts with pass rush, and there's virtually none in the Bengal defense.
You are absolutely correct. The bulk of the pass rush they've gotten from their outside backers, James Francis, Alfred Williams, although Crumry leads in sacks. That's a coverage sack for an interior lineman like that.
On 2nd and 6, Brister goes long. Dwight Stone goes for the ball. Covering on the play, although not that well, was Lewis Billups. The ball came to the wrong side of Dwight Stone, and he couldn't quite get to it.
That's into the wind, Don. That may have affected just exactly where he was throwing that ball. You see the hand fighting. He was turning out, but when Brister threw that, that's right into the teeth of the wind. It swirls here at Three River Stadium. Doggone it, Bubby says.
These teams very even over the years. This is the 43rd meeting between the Steelers and the Bengals. And of the previous 42, each team has 21 victories. Steelers have won 14 of 19 games here at Riverfront. But the Bengals have won the last 3 here. Blue pass. Free ball. Incomplete. Leroy Thompson, a first-year back from Penn State, took a little shot put and almost tossed it to a defender trying to get it.
That should have been caught.
Tim Crumry, still a good one. The nose tackle, number 69. There's another Pro Bowl 10th round draft choice.
This guy might be the ultimate free agent.
He was telling me yesterday, Gary Anderson, the flag atop the stadium tells the story, and you kick exactly the opposite of the way it's blowing because the wind swirls. And there it is. He kicked towards the way the wind was blowing, and it came back. Wind was blowing to the left. He angled the ball that way, and it came back. It's a 10-0 lead Steelers. The playoff picture. Buffalo goes tonight at Indianapolis. Right now, the Houston Oilers are losing at Cleveland 7-0. Should the Browns beat the Oilers, Buffalo would have home field advantage to the AFC playoffs before they even take the field against the Colts. Denver goes later. The Raiders play Monday night at New Orleans. We'll get back to that more as we have a kickoff now by Anderson following his field goal. Mitchell Price again for the Bengals. And he is knocked back at the 22-yard line. Huey Richardson, first-round draft choice of the Steelers, made the tackle. Next week, the Raiders and Kansas City play at the Coliseum in Los Angeles in a game you'll see on many of these NBC stations, and that very well could determine who's on the home field if they should meet again in a wild card playoff game. Although the Raiders are still in the hunt for the AFC Western title. Denver has the lead there, though. Denver with the later start today. Jets right now losing 3-0. Miami could win their way into the playoffs as a wild card should they win at San Diego later if the Jets lose. And all those games very early. Handoff, and turning wide is Harold Green. He breaks it ahead. On a first down carry, he is ahead for 7 to the 28-yard line, where the strong safety, Carnell Lake, makes the stop. Washington's won it all in the NFC. They are on the home field through that conference's playoffs. Chicago is in the playoffs after winning yesterday. They have a tough one coming up their final week. And Detroit, if they lose today, we'll get back. Here is another look now, and a handoff as a run wide right goes to the 30-yard line. Nickerson was again on the tackle. Chicago has a magic number of 1 for winning the NFC Central title. If the Detroit Lions should lose today, Chicago will win that division. Atlanta can win its way to the NFC West, as mentioned earlier. New Orleans goes against the Raiders tomorrow night. Philadelphia losing 5-0 to Dallas. Here is a handoff again to Harold Green as he gets to the 31-yard line. David Little makes the stop. That was a 3rd down and 2 play. And it looks like they're short. Trump will have to punt it.
Yeah, Don, to this point, I see nothing out of the Bengals. 0. Not a lot of inspiration, not a lot of fire, not a lot of execution. Opening stages of this game looking very, very ugly for Cincinnati, and I think Pittsburgh realizes they got a chance to rub it in.
The Steelers were a very dispirited team last week at Houston. The Rooney brothers not at all pleased with that performance, nor were any of the coaches. Today, the Steelers are very up club. They look sharp. The Steelers finished 9-7 last year, as did the Bengals. Bengals winning the division title by virtue of tiebreakers as Woodson fields the punt on the run. A daring man gets a good block, and Woodson, he is unbelievable. Keeps winding his way through the Bengal defenders and takes the ball all the way out to the 47-yard line.
I don't know how many yards he gained, but I think he ran 80 to get whatever he got.
Keith Cash with the block.
He starts out right, then it looks like he's got a chance here. Gets one good block there, but then Lewis Billups slows him down. Very poor tackling again. Whenever you see guys going for the shoulder pads, you know that they're not making the effort to get to the ground. He only gained 15 yards in that. He had to run 80 to gain 15.
He was heading east and west a lot, but a 15-yard punt return for the leader in that department in the American Conference. 10-0 Steelers, and they're on the move again with good field position. Tim Worley, his first carry since the fumble. He's ahead for 3. Lamar Rogers makes the stop as we'll check the Dr. Pepper 10-minute ticker. Game clock here showing 1:15 to play in the first quarter. Packers have moved in front of Detroit. Lions have yet to win outdoors this season, but they have won 4 of the last 5 on the Packers' home field.
Green Bay is definitely outdoors in December,
yes.
Isn't it? There is no question about outdoors in Green Bay.
Chill factor here is down around 0, but the winds have abated. They were really heavy yesterday, up to 35 miles an hour. Brister comes in low to Dwight Stone. Open receiver, but the throw is errant.
Yeah,
incomplete.
The key phrase there, open receiver. We've seen that a lot. There you see the winds. They had damage here yesterday from trees blowing over. Tough for the planes to land. When the Bengals left their team charter yesterday, they walked out on the tarmac. Some of the littler guys on the team, like Jim Breach, had trouble making it from the plane to the bus. It was blowing so hard.
Tremendous winds here. I picked up a paper. It was the Buffalo News.
Current Buffalo News, right?
Airmail. They're down now. The Steelers need 8. Brister lets a long one fly. It's caught. Lewis slips. And a marker down as he gets knocked out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Billups is protesting. He was interfered with by the offensive man. And that might be the call. At least Billups thinks so.
Pass interference, number 83.
That's on Lips.
10 yards, third down.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bubby Brister has thrown the ball right on target, Don. This is the only spot that Lewis Lips can make the catch. There's the contact right there. He pushes Lewis Billups away. Flag comes in, negates a nice big pickup, but Bubby Brister has been on target, hasn't he? I was a little worried with 8 weeks of sitting on the bench and not playing in a game situation that he might be rusty. But Chuck Noll told us yesterday he had a great week of practice, and he looked sharp.
Yeah, we asked Noll why you're starting Brister. He said because he's healthy and he had a great week of practice. Chuck Noll in his 23rd year. It took a 1-13 team. That was the first season's record in 1969 to a 4-time Super Bowl championship group. On 3rd and 18, Brister starts to roll out. Here comes the rush. Penalty marker down, and the pass is way high for Dwight Stone.
Holding against Pittsburgh. Now, you mentioned that 1-13 season. He didn't want to reflect back to that 1-13 season, but
Holding, number 62 offense, penalty decline, 4th down.
Tunchiokan on the hold, but that 1-13 record produced one Joe Green out of North Texas State, excuse me. That's a good reason to go 1-13.
Tunchiokan, a self-effacing man. He said, I give thanks every day for spending 12 years in the NFL because I'm slow, small, and stupid. And he's none of those, but now Straczynski, trying to punt, is hemmed in by a big rush by the Bengals. And so we have an injured man down for the Steelers. It's Dan Straczynski, the punter.
They were all over him, Don.
Oh, they really got there. There was no blocking.
This was a punt rush. The snap is not bad, but he knows it's Dan Stubbs, 67, right in his face. Barney Bussey lays a hit on him. I'm surprised Straczynski hangs onto the football, but hey, when you're 2-12, why not try everything? Again, this is obviously the punt rush. 67 Dan Stubbs, a free agent acquisition from Dallas right there. And that is a body slam by Barney Bussey on Dan Straczynski.
So with just 4 seconds to play in the first quarter, Dan Straczynski is attended to. He took a full shoulder shot from Barney Bussey, a hard-hitting safety for the Bengals. Both these teams coming off very poor performances last week. Actually, the Bengals were hanging tough, down by 7 in the fourth quarter at Miami. And then the fumbles and the gates opened, and Miami won it 37-13. Houston was never in the game, or Cincinnati was never in the game at Houston. Pittsburgh losing at Houston 31-6. Next Sunday, NBC Sports presents the final regular season Sunday in the NFL with an exciting doubleheader beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL Live. Most of you will see the Jets take on the Miami Dolphins in a crucial game that could determine who gets the final spot in the AFC playoffs. Then in the second half of our doubleheader, you'll see Kansas City against the Raiders at Los Angeles, a game that will likely determine home field in a wild card game or regional action. Check your local listings.
Straczynski up off the field, got the wind knocked out of him. Kansas City and the Raiders might play 2 weeks in a row. Wouldn't that be something?
That happens
in the playoffs. Yeah.
Get to the wild card. Bengals with Boomer throwing on first down. Brown goes for the ball. Woodson intercepts. Woodson pushed Eddie Brown down, and there's no flag. Brown is protesting. We're going to watch this again.
Bad throw by Boomer Esiason. Had nothing on it. The ball was way underthrown. Eddie Brown protesting.
Watch this, though, Trump.
Watch this, though. Watch the pressure on him. See, he throws off his back foot, underthrown. No question, there's a push.
He knocked him down. And the official right there must have ruled incidental contact, as that'll do it for the first quarter of play with the Steelers in command, 10-0.
The tail end of the interception. Watch the right arm of Rod Woodson. Well, that's a little more than incidental contact, but the interception stands. And another great opportunity for the Bengals offense goes away.
Now they start from their 11. Brister to Hodge. He slips, cutting back. Gained only a yard. 2nd and 9. Leo Barker was on him quickly, along with Tim Crumry. So far in the game, the Steelers have 5 first downs. The Bengals have 2. Steelers with 125 yards total offense. The Bengals with just 36.
Yeah, I think one of those 2 first downs came by penalty, too, on the 12 men on the field. So at this point, the Steelers pretty much having their way with the Bengals. There's Dick LeBeau, the defensive coordinator. You got a feel for him. He's been here for a lot of years. Was an assistant under Hank Bulla when Forrest Gregg was in Cincinnati. Preceded Sam White's to Cincinnati.
Play fake by Brister. Again, he gets time, and then he fires the ball away. He sees nobody open.
Yeah, that was a screen pass to Warren Williams, 42. Covered well by Cincinnati. Couldn't tell who was out there, but Bubby Brister made a very good choice there. He avoids the sack. He doesn't take a chance with the interception and just throws it out of bounds, and we try again.
In the previous meeting this season, when the Steelers beat the Bengals at Cincinnati 33-27 in overtime, Neil O'Donnell threw a touchdown pass in that game, completed a scoring throw from 26 yards out. It went to Eric Green for the touchdown that won it in overtime. Only Steeler win over the Bengals in the last 7 meetings. Here's a throw and an interception. On the run is David Fulcher, and he heads in. Touchdown Bengals. So Fulcher, who's had a tough season, has a big moment.
His 4th interception, 27 yards on the return. The first touchdown by way of interception. Watch Bubby. Good pressure by Tim Crumry. He doesn't come through with it all the way. Fulcher is right there to make the interception. This is a rarity for Cincinnati's defense. And I think the fans are saying that he didn't get in the end zone. The ball crosses inside the cone. That's inbounds and in the end zone. Defense scores.
That's got Coach White's pumped. His much maligned defense rises up, makes the big play, and Breach hits the point after, and the Bengals are right back in it. Cincinnati will be kicking off as they now trail the Steelers 10-7. David Fulcher in the end zone from 27 yards out with an interception of Bubby Brister, and the Bengals are back in the game. Next Saturday, it's a special afternoon of great NFL action, beginning at 12 noon with NFL Live. Then Warren Moon leads the AFC Central champion Oilers into New York to battle the Giants. Onside kick. But coming up to make the play is Rob McGovern.
Pittsburgh was not fooled. Bengals tried to get the ball back for the offense. McGovern did an excellent job there. Stayed right at the line of scrimmage. That's a nice pickup. That's a linebacker, you know. They're not used to getting down there on the field picking it up. Nice try, didn't work. Great field position, Pittsburgh.
So Rob McGovern with the good hands coming up with the ball, and the Steelers get good field position to start a drive at their 49. Now a timeout is called. Bengals want it. Brister is thrown for a touchdown. Actually, he's thrown for two, isn't he, Trump? One the wrong way.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Chevrolet, the heartbeat of America. The cars more people depend on. By cold-filtered Keystone and Keystone Light. Bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great? By Bugle Boy Company, because any closet without Bugle Boy is an empty closet. And by the card, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
The Steelers now set to go, leading the game 10-7 in the second quarter. Brister hands off, and Worley hit at the line of scrimmage. He'll be stopped for a loss. As the Bengals come gang tackling, led by the rookie Lamar Rogers. Now, while we have a moment, it's to New York and NFL Live, and here's Bob.
All right, Don, Houston has tied it at Cleveland after sustaining their drive by converting a 4th and 1 on the previous play. Warren Moon with his 21st touchdown pass of the year to Ernest Gibbons, the 7-yarder, ties it at 7 in the second in chilly Cleveland.
Thank you, Bob. And back in chilly Pittsburgh, where playing conditions are good, albeit in chill factors approaching 0, the Steelers are holding to a 3-point lead as Brister delivers an on-time throw, and Keith Cash, one of the tight ends, swings out and makes the reception, and Cash is down to the 40-yard line of the Bengals. It's good for a first down.
They had a double tight end set, Don. See Adrian Cooper, 87, releasing inside. Cash goes to the outside, and Barney Bussey, number 27, the man in coverage, and receivers continue to be open for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Steelers come into the game with a 5-9 record. As Keith Willis, their big defensive end, in addressing the team this week, said, "We've got a 2-game season. Let's go undefeated." And he said, "We had very good practices all week." Here's Lewis Lips with a very good play as he dives down to the 25-yard line. It's not booing, it's looing you're hearing. Salute to this former Pro Bowler.
Lips on the near side. That's Eric Thomas in coverage. Well, Eric Thomas didn't respond well to that break by Lewis Lips. Ricky Dixon finally makes the tackle. That's a 15-yard pickup drive, stays alive. They are open all over the place, aren't they?
Rockin' Ricky Dixon. He'll put the knockout hit on. They really are. There's people running free in the Bengals secondary all game long. Game clock shows 11:45 to play first half. Brister stands in. They give him time. Now he runs out of it. Eludes the rush. Here's a marker. And Brister takes it himself down to the 20. But a marker down in the Steelers' backfield could be offensive holding. Leo Barker was the tackler.
Bubby gets up and is limping a little bit. You know, holding against Pittsburgh is the call. He's got that bad knee. He seems to be all right. Not wearing the knee brace, but limping and limping noticeably.
Brister playing for a lot of money, too.
Holding, number 77, offense, 10 yards.
Carlton Hasselrick, the right guard. Brister was all set to sign a new contract, 3 years for over $2 million a season. And there was some fine points to be worked out. He didn't sign it, was going to wait a couple days. And in the next game against the Giants, he was injured and didn't play for 8 weeks. So his contract status is on hold.
Yeah, conversations stopped with that injury. Not what you want, but that's what happened.
He said he's confident he'll still get the same good contract. Quarterbacking a win today would certainly help as he drops. Here's the big rush. Swing pass to Warren Williams, well defended by Cincinnati. Last couple of downs, Trump. This does not look like a 28 defense.
Nope, they played well. Alfred Williams with a good pass rush. That screen was diagnosed by Cincinnati, and there were several people out there. David Fulcher was the first guy in Warren Williams' way. If they lose more yardage.
Brian Brennan just caught a touchdown pass from Bernie Kosar as the Browns have gone in front again, 14-7. The Eagles with a touchdown have gone in front of Dallas now, 7-5. And Atlanta with the 5-0 lead over Seattle. Detroit's come back to tie up the Packers 7-all. Jets now in a tie with a Leahy field goal, 3-3 with the Patriots. And Pittsburgh leading 10-7 here at Three Rivers. On 2nd and 23, Brister has a lot of time and hits an open man in Merrill Hodge. He gets back some of the lost yardage, back to the 30-yard line.
And if there's one thing about this defense at this point in the game, very poor tackling by the Bengals. You see a lot of missed tackles, a lot of second effort by Pittsburgh receivers, and here you'll see with Merrill Hodge, 33. Just a hook right over the middle. Barney Bussey hits him. Lewis Billups kind of drops at his feet, bows to him, and then finally the tackle is made
by Mitchell Price.
Dick LeBeau, the defensive coordinator, seen too much of that.
He'd like to have the Dick LeBeau of old. He was a first-team All-Pro cornerback for the Lions in his playing days, a former standout for the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Steelers 1 for 4 on third down conversions. They need 14. Brister on the run. He's going to try to get it himself, but he won't do it. But he does have his team in field goal range as he is hit hard at the 22-yard line.
Good coverage by the Bengals that time. Bubby had quite a bit of time back there, but could not find a receiver. Even with the bad knee, he's certainly willing to run the football. He's a Crumrise 69 is the first one to flush him. He gets by Tua Tagovailoa 96. And then this is just, he's not going to pick up the first down here. He's just trying to get the right position for Anderson in the field goal attempt.
Anderson, who came to the Steelers off the waiver wire, he was cut by Buffalo, and he told me yesterday, he said, I was cut because I deserved to be. I kicked very poorly. But an hour later, he had a job with the Steelers. That was back in '82, and he's since been an all-pro kicker, but not on that one, as he kicks it wide. And so a good scoring chance goes for naught, and the Steelers will hold to their 10-7 lead. One aspect of the Cincinnati Bengals under coach Sam Hodge, in '87 they won 4 games and lost 11. They came back the next year to be the winningest team in football. They were 14-5, winning more games than the San Francisco 49ers, but they didn't win the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah, this is a hard team to figure out. It has not been consistent under Sam White. The offense has always produced a lot of yards. The defense has always given up a lot of yards. It's a hard team to figure in each year, Don.
An incomplete throw to the 33-yard line as James Brooks had to come back at the ball. It was not close. Brooks, who's had consecutive 1,000-yard-plus rushing seasons, way off this year, under 600 yards rushing.
Yeah, this would have been a very tough catch. A very tough catch. Boomer does have a very, very strong arm, and that one just whistled by James Brooks for an incompletion.
Boomer's actually calling the play as he barks out the count, the play call, and the formation. Greg Veazey was on the tackle.
There's Dave Brazil, the defensive coordinator. He's all kinds of signals over there. Cincinnati substitutes, Pittsburgh substitutes.
Dave Brazil telling us yesterday, Trump, as you recall, that the team that wins today will be the team that plays the hardest and the most alertly. These teams have been guilty of some errors of omission, some mental mistakes. Missing coverages because they missed calls. Big rush. Esiason stands in, zips one down, but right to the wrong guy. As the Steelers pick it off, Gary Jones, a second-year defender from Texas A&M, had the receiver covered. Who is that masked man? It's Gary Jones with his first interception.
It looked like Tim McGee was the intended receiver. And does he stop? No, he does not. Gary Jones just reads it perfectly. Second interception thrown by Boomer Esiason. Not really flushed, has to move in the pocket. But Gary Jones reads it well. For Boomer Esiason now in the season, that's his 16th interception. And again, Pittsburgh with great field position.
Boomer, his bad season getting worse in this game. As Merrill Hodge takes on tacklers and bangs right through and gets down to the 31-yard line.
Well, down in it to this point with 7:30 to go in the first half of this game, the Bengal defense has been on the field a bunch.
They have.
I don't think any coach in his right mind wants the 28th ranked defense on the field as much as this defense has been on the field in the first half. Eventually, Pittsburgh is going to shred this defense.
These teams with contrasting problems. The Bengals with the 28th defense in the league. The Steelers with offensive problems. See the mark just short. There are high-level decisions going on in the Steelers organization. There's no question about that, because all the Rooney brothers are gathering in Pittsburgh for a family meeting. Tim Rooney in, Pat Rooney in, John will be in, Art lives here, along with Dan, who's the president of the Steelers. I always remember what Art Rooney said about Chuck Noll. His greatest coaching job was his first one in '69. He finished 1-13, but never lost his team. The late great Art Rooney, the patriarch of the Rooney clan. Here's a handoff to Warren Williams as he turns upfield and gets a first down. Fumble, ball on the field indeed. Let's see who's got it. Bengals have another fumble recovery.
This time it was Warren Williams. Tim Worley fumbled it before.
Tim Crumry looked like Trump was the guy who came up with it.
Yeah, watch the initial stages of this run. It looks like he's going to go for 25 yards. Parker 53 is out there. Lewis Billups is out there. Ricky Dixon makes the hit.
Yeah.
And Tim Crumry comes up with a recovery, the second fumble recovery for the Bengals. And again, a drive by Pittsburgh stopped with a turnover. See if the offense can do anything now for Sam Whites and the Bengals.
Crumry still a top nose tackle with that lateral pursuit. Tough enough to bite that football in half. Now Harold Green looks for running room, and the Steelers come a-hitting hard. Brian Hinkle, number 53, came in with that shoulder pop.
So did Thomas Everett from the free safety spot. That's one thing the Bengals have to do in order to succeed, is run the ball, because they rely so much on the hard play-action fakes. You got to draw those linebackers up, those safeties up, to get the ball deep like Cincinnati likes to do.
Handoff, and Harold Green runs hard on a 2nd down and 5 play. He's out to the 33-yard line, where Craig Veazey, number 91, was the tackler for the Steelers.
You got an offensive lineman of the Bengals hurt as Joe Walter gets up very slow. The Bengals don't need another injury to an offensive lineman.
They've lost Munoz, they've lost Reimers, they've lost Jeton.
Walter leaves. The guy replacing him is Mike Withacombe, number 60, a recent free agent acquisition. He was with the New York Jets.
And he was with the Steelers.
There's Withacombe right there.
Big enough to be a player, 3'10", at least. Jim McNally, the offensive line coach for the Bengals, personally searched him out.
Yeah, but this is a very tough spot for a kid like Withacombe. Comes in, is a new acquisition. This offense is run at the line of scrimmage. There are an awful lot of audibles going on, and putting Cincinnati and Mike Withacombe in a very difficult spot here on a 3rd and short. 0 for 4 on 3rd downs to this point in the game, Don.
Steelers missing scoring chances. Wide field goal try their last possession. Driving again. Losing it on a fumble. Bengals trail in the game 10-7. 6 minutes to go, first half. Steeler defense holds on 3rd down and 1. Veazey shot the gap, so did outside backer number 95, Greg Lloyd. And a knockdown is made, and so the punting unit comes out for Cincinnati.
We look back at the play. Let's see if we can pick up where Withacombe is. He pulls out, and the guy he pulls out from makes the tackle. Again, I don't know if you can blame it on Withacombe. It's a very tough spot to put that young man in. And he moved to left guard, and Kozerski, the starting left guard, moved to right tackle to replace Joe Walter.
Snap to Johnson. He punts that cold football, hits it well downfield, and on the runs, waving the arm for the fair catch is Rod Woodson. 41-yard punt, the first time Woodson's not returned it a long way today. Coming up at halftime, it's the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. Bob, Will, and O.J. will have all the scores and highlights and bring you up to date on the emerging playoff picture, plus a feature on the resurgence of the Miami Dolphins, a team that has really turned their season around. That's all at halftime. David Shula, Don Shula's son, the receivers coach for the Bengals. But right now, Cincinnati's defense back on the field. Steelers leading the game 10-7. Brister on the run on first down, gets ahead for a gain of 8 yards. And he gets up limping, so his return to the lineup could be short-lived.
There's Joe Walter going to the locker room. The Bengals are now missing 80% of their offensive line. And no one is playing in their original position when they take the field again. Bubby's shown some guts here, running the ball with that bum knee. He's in the huddle there trying to exercise it, trying to loosen it up. As cold as it is, a joint injury like that really stiffens up.
Williams on a draw play. He takes some hard strikes. The first delivered by the touchdown scorer, David Fulcher. Houston gets a field goal. Now trails the Cleveland Browns at Cleveland 14-10. There's a player down on the field. Jeff Kemp threw a 31-yard scoring pass for the Philadelphia Eagles as they lead Dallas 7-5. Atlanta increasing its lead to 12-0 over Seattle. And there's a possible coaching change in Seattle developing. Chuck Knox may not be back. Packers on a field goal have gone back in front of Detroit.
Alonzo Mitz, the man injured on the field, slow in getting up.
A former Seattle Seahawk. A man who speaks of himself in the third person.
Used to.
Himself as the Warrior. He doesn't anymore?
No, doesn't anymore. That didn't work. When he was at Seattle, of course, they had the Boz and the Road Warrior. Boz is making movies, and Mitz was released. So no more of the Warrior.
The ball is positioned at the 36-yard line with 4:05 to play in the first half and the clock running. First down and 10 Steelers. They took a 10-0 lead. Bengals got back in it on a 27-yard interception return for a touchdown by strong safety David Fulcher. Brister with the deep drop. There comes the rush, and again he escapes it, and the ball is dropped by Worley.
Oh, goodness.
Not what you expect from a #1 draft choice.
That jersey must be made of Teflon.
Or steel, because it caromed off it like it hit rock.
Boom. I mean, that baby goes 6 feet in the air. Mr. Worley. To this point, this young man's professional career has not gone the way he expected, nor the way the Pittsburgh Steelers expected.
He was welcomed back. Tim's had a tough year. He tested positive for substance abuse and was out for the mandatory 30 days. injury problems, but now he's in good health and hoping to prove his worth as Keith Cash makes the reception and gets across the 46-yard line, is knocked out of bounds to the 47.
Now that's a page out of the Cincinnati playbook, the bootleg by the quarterback. Watch the influence it has on the defense. Everyone goes left. Rogers, 79, stays home. Alfred Williams, 94, stays home. Cash is out there by himself. Not a very good tackle by David Fulcher. First down pickup.
Bubby Brister, the quarterback, is now in his 6th year out of Northeast Louisiana. See his passing numbers. He's already put the ball up 18 times today. Here comes Worley on a sweep, and that's why he was a #1 pick. Worley tight ropes the sideline and almost breaks it for the distance. The big back from Georgia, 6'2", 235 pounds. His weight is up 10 pounds because Mom's come to live with him, and she's a good cook.
You can see Lewis Phillips, 24, knocked on the ground. Ricky Dixon can't make the tackle. They got the corner quickly. They got the corner very quickly, and when you can capture the corner quickly, the running back has the ability to turn up the field in a hurry, and then it's easy pickings.
He was the 7th player picked in the first round when he came out of Georgia, Tim Worley. A high #1 draft choice, and the Steelers have first down. Brister looks it over, lets it rip. And the ball is had and then lost. Ernie Mills had it and lost it.
Oh, he had 3 chances. I thought he was going to catch it on the second one.
3 on a match.
Yep. Eric Thomas, the man in coverage. Ball underthrown slightly. There's the first chance. Thomas knocks it away. There's the second one. Actually had 4 chances to catch it, not 3.
Great second look. Our producer today for NBC Sports is John McGinnis. Our director, Richard Klein. Executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. As the Steelers now have the ball positioned at the 38-yard line of Cincinnati. 3rd round pick, Ernie Mills.
Has yet to contribute much for the Steelers this year.
Brister, again with time. Here's a throw, but there's a marker down as Adrian Cooper really blasted by Fulcher. 2 markers down, though, at the line of scrimmage. Could be a hold. On the play.
And Gordon McCarter say, bring it back.
Yes, holding. 77 offense, 10 yards, repeat, 2nd down.
Carlton Hasselrig, the offensive guard. This is a slight roll by Bubby Brister. Hasselrig is on Tim Crumry. Well, he's got a hold of his jersey, left hand right over his jersey. That is definitely
Carlton, the NCAA champion wrestler, with a takedown.
Yeah, that's wrestler on wrestler. Tim Crumry out of Wisconsin.
He was a good one.
Oh, he was a great one. He lost 6 wrestling matches in his career, all 6 to Olympic gold medal winners.
Draw play. Hodge waits for his blockers, and Merrill Hodge busts it all the way down to the 31-yard line. As we come to the 2-minute warning, Merrill Hodge, the veteran, with the skill to use his blockers for the big gain.
Terry Long back in the game, get a little playing time. He's had surgery among other problems. He had a torn tricep, also missed because of use of steroids. Finally back and active.
Into pass block is Terry Long along with the rest of the Steeler offensive front on a 3rd down and 4. Brister can take it himself. Working hard, but the Bengals knock him down short of the first down mark. He's inside the 30-yard line, and out comes Gary Anderson once again.
Boy, I tell you, Bubby is really showing some fullback in him here today. That's about the 3rd or 4th time he's run the ball. Francis 50, some pressure. Danny Stubbs 67, some pressure. Puts that ball down, puts his shoulder down, drives to the first down marker, but it's not enough.
Anderson now at the hold by Strzelecki. Be at the 38-yard line.
That was a bad snap, Don.
Bad news Bears football.
Yeah. That skidded back along the ground. Straczynski, the punter, did the best job he possibly could to try to get it up so that Anderson could kick it. Watch this ball skid back. When that happens, all bets are off. He does get it off, but Gary Anderson doesn't make the attempt. It's Eric Thomas who flushes him out. Bengals take over at that spot.
I think what happened there with Gary Anderson, it was a thinking play. He realized it would have been blocked. It could have been knocked way backfield.
By number 1, the kicker, in the fumble. The fumble will be declining. First down.
That could have been blocked and knocked way back downfield where the Bengals could have gone and gotten it.
Yeah. Well, it didn't work. That's 2 field goal attempts by Gary Anderson. One doesn't take place, and the other one was missed. So the Bengals still find themselves in this game down 10-7.
So the Steelers keep getting chances against the low-rated Bengal defense. But after that early 10 points, the Steelers have not scored. They lead the game by 3 as Boomer, with time of factor now, goes right to the gun. Swing pass. He gets it out to Barber, and he gets out of bounds at the 39-yard line, where Carnell Lake knocks him out. 1 minute to play in the first half.
Boomer just going to the sideline. Barber runs the out, and then Carnell Lake gives him a shove. Looks like a Bengal player goes down, but he does get up. They've got an extra tight end for pass protection in the backfield here, Don, along with James Brooks. And I do not see Joe Walter in there yet, so Kozerski has moved to right tackle, and Withacombe is again at left guard for Cincinnati. No running back here, Don.
Nope. An array of wide receivers on 2nd down and 4. Long ball. Tim Brown extends himself way out, but both feet were not in bounds, or Tim McGee. And so Boomer Esiason with an errant throw. McGee standing at the ball. He has 48 catches for the year. And Boomer with a troublesome day with 2 interceptions so far.
Yeah, you know, Don, right where that ball sits is second base for the Pittsburgh Pirates. See, I saw 2 defensive linemen slip right on that insert there. That must be wet. And not very good footing right there.
The Bengals are 0 for 5 on 3rd down conversions. The handoff goes to James Brooks. Working hard. He is shut down short of the first down. Game clock ticking on down now, as you see, down to 44 seconds and running.
2 and 12. Why not go for it?
4th down. The one thing they don't want to do, Trump, is punt it back to the Steelers and give them some time. So they're going to huddle at their leisure, run the play clock all the way down if they can.
It looks to me like they may go for it on 4th down, though. You see Kozerski leaning around there. He's trying to tell Mike Withacombe, the new guy on the offensive line, what to do on these plays. See if they try to draw him off sides, or do they run it?
They have 12 seconds on the play clock. There are 3 more seconds on the game clock. The Steelers will get 1 play if they run it down and take a penalty. And that's how it will work out. Pretty interesting. The Steelers will take it over now with 3 seconds to play in the first half.
So if you're the Steelers, there's only one thing to do. Try for the punt block.
And the ball will be advanced 5 yards back on the Bengals, back to their 36-yard line.
Although you got Rod Woodson back there, tough choice for the special teams of the Steelers. Which do you do? Give him a chance to return it or go for the block? Probably your best chance at a touchdown is to get it in the hands of that guy, Rod Woodson.
They'll get 1 chance at it with 3 seconds left on the game clock.
The up back is the quarterback, Don Hollis, number 12, standing right there at the 30.
Lee Johnson gets it away. And that will conclude play for the first half as the punt comes out of bounds, and the Steelers go to the locker room hearing some boos, but they do hold to a 10-7 lead. Defense, Trump would have no points at all. Meanwhile, the Bengal offense has a total of 2 first downs, 1 by penalty.
Yeah, they've not done anything. They've only rushed for 17 yards. The Pittsburgh defense has done a great job against the Bengals offense. It is an unlikely situation that the only score by Cincinnati is an interception returned by David Fulcher. The Steelers have certainly had their chances. As you look at the numbers, 52 total yards to 231 for Pittsburgh. Time of possession clearly in their favor, but yet they just lead by 3.
The Steelers and the Bengals back on the playing field now and set for the second half kickoff. It'll be Gary Anderson kicking it off. He's had a very successful season again with field goal kicking, although he's had a tough day today. He made his first, then was wide, and then never got one off as the snap and set down were a little late.
Got a word from the Pittsburgh bench. Tunch-Ilkin has a concussion, out for the day.
Line drive kickoff. On the bounce it goes to Shane Garrett, a first-year player, taken right back at the Steelers. He's upended at the 30-yard line, and here comes the Cincinnati offense. Jerry Olszewski on the tackle.
Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler bring you this NFL Game of the Month. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
Bengals come out on offense with just one first down moving the ball. One on penalty. The handoff and going high with the ball is Mike Dingle, a first-year runner that Coach Sam White's had a lot of nice things to say about. Harold Green in there with him. As the Bengals get the ball out to the 35-yard line, there's a gain on the play of about 3 yards.
And I noticed that Joe Walter is still out of the lineup, so they've got Bruce Kozerski, 64 at right tackle. Mike Withacombe, just recently acquired at left guard, and one of the most difficult offenses to pick up.
Problems compound. Harold Green tries to put an outside move on and does, and he gets across the 35-yard line out to the 39. Where the Steelers' leading tackler Hardy Nickerson knocks him down.
Report from the Bengals bench, Joe Walter has a bruised thigh, may return. Not sure the opening offensive set here for Cincinnati. They've got 3 tight ends in the ball game, Don. Obviously, their choice is to run the ball and run a lot. They got Riggs, Caddis, and Holman in there. 1 wide receiver, Tim Brown, and Harold Green, the lone setback.
You were saying at halftime you thought they might run it more in the second half, and now they come out in a power set and go to the run. And Harold Green fights his way ahead on a 3rd and 1 play. He bangs ahead for 7 yards and a first down before Gary Jones, who has an interception today, tackled him.
Now, Don, the last time these two teams met, Pittsburgh came with more blitzes than Cincinnati had ever seen Pittsburgh blitz a team. Today they've come with very few blitzes, and I think the running game is there.
The Steelers blitz the Bengals on almost 75% of the downs. Virtually every down they came.
See that stat? This at the line of scrimmage offense has disguised a very good running game over the years.
Esiason with a straight drop. He loses the ball and then falls on it. But there's a loss of about 5 yards on the play. Greg Lloyd was in there to hit him on the arm and knock it free. Esiason's had good success over the years against Pittsburgh because he play fakes so well. He fakes, and they're a very aggressive defense that bites on the fakes.
And you can see Lloyd grabs the left arm of Boomer Esiason, strips it out. So it's a loss of about 4 yards, 2nd and 14.
Esiason for the season, 10 touchdown throws and 16 interceptions.
Look at this formation. No running back.
Steelers just match up with it man for man. Esiason makes the throw. Eddie Brown has it and gets the ball to the 50-yard line. There was a good gain on the play, but still short of the first down. A big problem, as you know, Trump, with the Bengals has been the drops this year. Coming to this game, they have 71 drops.
This ball is caught on the 2nd attempt. Hardy Nickerson, 54 from the inside, makes the tackle, but that ball is tough to catch on a day like today. There's no question about that.
Word from the Steeler bench, Tunch-Ilkin, their veteran right tackle, is out with a concussion. He'll not play again today. Bengals only 1 for 6, converting 3rd downs. Whoops. Marker thrown in, stopping the clock with 12:09 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Again, you've got 80% of the offensive line new guys. The only guy out there, Bruce Kozerski, 64, playing right tackle. To my knowledge, the first time in his career he's lined up at right tackle. Started the season at center, had to move out to guard, and now is at right tackle.
Talking to Bruce yesterday about his man of many positions.
Yes, the crescent wrench can adjust to any job out there.
Third down, Boomer and the Bengals need 11.
Blitz.
James Brooks up from behind and knocked down. Gerald Williams, number 57, making the play for the Steelers, along with Keith Willis, number 93.
Gerald Williams with a J. If James Brooks pops through the line of scrimmage, there's man coverage back. That play pops for 14 or 15 yards and a first down, but he couldn't get through the line of scrimmage.
Rod Woodson now drops back at the 10-yard line.
Cincinnati Woodson to receive for Pittsburgh.
Woodson was somewhat questionable whether he returned kicks today. He's been troubled by a hamstring all season long. A track man's injury, and he was one of the best at that, a hurdler at Purdue. He'll run it back from his 4. Rod Woodson takes it across the 20-yard line and out to the 23. So the Steelers go on offense for the first time in the second half when we come back.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. By the new Mazda, it just feels right. By Norelco patented lift-and-cut shapers, we make clothes comfortable. And by Mylanta, the antacid doctors recommend most.
Chuck Noll, a man, the only one to coach 4 Super Bowl winners, but he does not wear a Super Bowl ring. He says the game of football and the game of life isn't about what you did, it's about the job at hand. Plus, he also says it hurts your hand when people shake it when you're wearing a Super Bowl ring. He said you're on your knees.
Sure it does.
A drop by the usually sure-handed Merrill Hodge, who has 44 catches this season to date.
Haddock's 45 was the man in coverage. Again, the rollout. Bubby Brister with his bad knee showing no signs of that chronic knee problem. He's rolled out good. He's run the ball very well. Andrew, Bubby, Brister, the third.
He might go right back to Hodge. Second down and 10. Tim Worley is also in the backfield. He does go to Hodge, but on the run. And Merrill Hodge is upended. A good defensive play. Alfred Williams, the number 1 draft choice of the Bengals and outside linebackers. We look at the Hertz 10-minute ticker. Cleveland continues to lead the Oilers 14-10 in the cold at Cleveland. Philadelphia up on Dallas by the unlikely score of 10-5. Atlanta went out in front 2-0, then 5-0, and now leads 12-0 over the Seahawks. Green Bay continues to lead the Lions. Patriots with another field goal have gone in front of the Jets 6-3. That is one of the windiest stadiums in the NFL when the temperatures turn cold. Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands of New Jersey. Third down, and the Steelers need 11. Brister on the run. In trouble. And swept under, back inside the 15-yard line by Daniel Stubbs, the former All-American at Miami, first sack. James Francis was also putting the heat on.
Bengals have put pressure on Brister today. He's been able to escape it by running, but this comes from both sides. You see him flushed at the outset. Francis, I think, gets him first.
Yeah, it was Francis, then Stubbs coming in to finish him off.
I think they'll give that one to James Francis, a rare sack by the Cincinnati Bengals.
It's only his third this season. He had 8 as a rookie last season, James Francis. Mitchell Price is now back for the Bengals. A high punt that Price will fair catch. Then he lets it hop, and it takes a big Steeler bounce all the way down to the 31-yard line. So the Bengals on offense will try again when we come back to Three Rivers Stadium. Tonight, Tom Brokaw anchors the Democratic debate. The Democratic Party's declared presidential candidates engage in their first national television debate starting at 6:30, 5:30 Central and Mountain. Then the country is hotter than ever with Travis Tritt, Tanya Tucker, Marty Stewart, Shelby Lynn, and the Charlie Daniels Band on Hot Country Nights. John Candy stars in Who's Harry Crumb following that tonight on NBC. The Bengals go to the pass. Greg Taylor takes it on the run and gets ahead to the 37-yard line. Tackled there by Brian Hinkle, outside backer for the Steelers, but there's a gain on the play of 5 yards.
Little swing pass to Craig Taylor out of the backfield. Coverage down the field. Probably something that Bengals ought to think about a lot is the little outlet pass and let the running backs and receivers run as opposed to getting it down the field.
Swing pass. Harold Green, a breakaway runner. Man, what a shot he takes. But he's ahead for a big gainer. Thomas Everett, the free safety, who's not big, but he is a knockout tackler, puts the shot on Harold Green after a gain of 15 yards.
Nice job by Whitthacombe, 60. He gets just enough of a glove on Greg Lloyd, 95, that Harold Green can cut back up underneath, and Everett will fire a shot at you.
These guys are tough. Green, well, he laid one on him. That was a head-on collision. But the Bengals are moving on the 15-yard gainer, and now Esiason tries to keep it going but does not. His throw to Harold Green is high again.
Well, I'll tell you, the tight end Rodney Holman was open down the field. Boomer came off of that pattern just a little too quickly, I think.
We met with Rodney Holman yesterday. He talked about the drops being a major problem, and he's one of the guys that's been dropping balls. He said, it seems like the more you struggle and try to think about watching the ball into your hands, the more it pops out of him. Everything seems to go wrong with him.
Said it's like a hitter's slump, you know? But he's caught the ball better of late.
Throw and a catch. Esiason drilling it over the middle, and coming out of the backfield was Harold Green. It's another Bengal first down to the 34-yard line of the Steelers.
16 yards, and Don, if I'm not mistaken, this is the deepest penetration by the Bengal offense so far today. See, Holman, 82, goes down the left hash. Green goes down the right hash. Everett makes the tackle, but they're trying to separate those safeties. Pittsburgh uses a lot of two-deep zone. Safeties rotate outside the hashes. Good play call there. Same thing's open again, Don.
Boomer checking it out as he makes the play call. He searches through the Steelers secondary and goes to the out pattern to Eddie Brown, who breaks it with a lunging move down inside the 25-yard line. David Johnson held on, but it's another Bengal first down.
Hand signals by Sam Whites. There's a lot in those hand signals. That's one of the communication problems that they've worked out at Cincinnati with that at-the-line of scrimmage offense. We used to send in guards from the sideline, consumed a great deal of time. But they've reduced it to just a couple of hand signals.
Esiason has thrown 2 interceptions today. He's not thrown a touchdown. Only Bengals scored by David Fulcher on an interception return. Here's a swing pass to Holman as he runs the drag pattern underneath. Carnell Lake, who was an All-American linebacker at UCLA and moved to strong safety as a Steeler, throws him back. There's a big move, as you're aware of, Trump being a Cincinnati resident. So we check this again. Can the coach or save the coach?
Gerald Williams gets him low. Looked like Greg Lloyd got him high. Tried to bend him the way you don't bend.
Sam White and his wife, who's been very active in aiding the homeless, will get into the can the coach or save the coach. In various supermarkets around the Cincinnati area, there's a big barrel that says can the coach. It's got a picture of a downtrodden Sam White, and then another save the coach with a happy-looking Sam White. And you put your canned goods in for the homeless in the barrel that you think best suits your thinking about where Sam White should go next year. Sam said he and his son go out at night and take all the cans out of the can the coach and put them in the save the coach.
That grocery store chain had an audit on that. It was 2-1 to save Sam White.
Sam was accusing Rodney Holman yesterday. He said he's got film of him loading up with canned goods into the can the coach.
I know that's not true because Rodney Holman spends every spare minute off the field fishing. Somebody else in his family goes to the grocery store.
25 on the play clock. 25 seconds.
Gordon McCarter is resetting the 25-second clock to 25 seconds.
Second down and 8. Bengals trail by 3 in the third quarter. They go to the run, and here's James Brooks. Knocked out of bounds at the 16-yard line by Donald Evans, number 66, and Thomas Everett.
This is certainly an unlikely drive for Cincinnati. In the first half, they could do none of this stuff. They lose another veteran offensive lineman, bring in a kid they just picked up off the waiver wire, and Mike Withacombe. Kozerski moves to right tackle, and this drive started at their own 31. They're driving right down the field now.
Bengals just 1 for 8 converting third downs, but the Steelers might have jumped in.
Gerald Williams.
There was a Gerald Williams with a G, that's Gerald 98, and a Gerald Williams with a J, Jerroll.
We're going to have a conference
outside
here
backer
with Gordon McCarter and his crew.
Where does Rodney Holman fish around Cincinnati this time of year?
Number 16 offense. 5 yards.
At the Ohio River.
That's on Mike Withacombe. Whoa, wait a minute. Gerald Williams knows that he jumped off, and they call it on the offense. Very interesting. 60 is the left guard. Oh, yeah, he does hitch a little bit, but then quite a bit later, Gerald Williams jumps off sides. Interesting.
5.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Bengals driving for what could be a go-ahead touchdown. They're down 10-7. Third down. They need 8. Drop. But the throw was low, and the field goal unit will come out. And sure-footed Jim Breach.
Boy, James Brooks was the lone receiver there for Boomer Esiason.
The small foot Jim has, but he uses it well.
It's Brian Hinkle in coverage. Ball thrown low by Boomer Esiason. Brooks just could not come up with a catch, and Jim Breach has scored in every game that he's played in.
The two competing place kickers today, very close personal friends, Anderson and Breach. Anderson said the only time I don't root for him is when he's kicking against us. And Jim Breach kicks it right down through and ties this game at 10-all with 5:10 to play in the third quarter.
Not a game that I don't think anybody in Cincinnati or Pittsburgh wants to see going to overtime.
Line drive kickoff by Johnson, and it's fielded on the third hop by Rod Woodson, who is only great, weaving his way through the tacklers and finally getting out to the 39-yard line, and they start up with a late hit. Next Sunday, NBC Sports presents the final regular season Sunday in the NFL with an exciting doubleheader beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL Live. Most of you will see the Jets battle the Miami Dolphins in what could be a crucial game to determine the final spot in the AFC playoffs. Then in the second half of the doubleheader, you'll see Kansas City play the Raiders at Los Angeles or regional action. Check your local listings for an NFL doubleheader on NBC Sports next Sunday. Brister has thrown the ball 20 times. As you see, has completed 10. His one interception returned for the Bengals' only touchdown by David Fulcher. First down throw and a drop by Brister, by Lewis Lips on the throw from Brister. And Brister turned around and put his hands on his hips, showing obvious dismay as we check the Hertz 10-minute ticker. Atlanta moving out in front now. Seattle 19-0. Chuck Knox in his 9th and perhaps final season as coach of the Seahawks, under fire there. Green Bay continues to lead Detroit. The Bears with a magic number of 1. If the Lions lose, the Bears win yet another NFC Central title after their victory yesterday over Tampa Bay.
Audible by Bubby Brister.
Brister off the mark. A low throw on 2nd and 10, and Brister is booed loudly. Jeff Graham, the intended receiver.
Intended for Jeff Graham. That's an audible. A slight roll by Bubby Brister, and I don't know that the wind is kicking up anymore, but when it's cold, that ball is very tough to catch. There's the flags at the top of the stadium. The wind does swirl in this stadium and swirl badly.
What you talked about earlier, Trump, it would be better offense and more consistent running the ball more.
Sure.
They keep putting it up into these gusting winds with not much results. Another throw. That time they make a connection as Brister comes in high and gets a first down connection to a first-year tight end, Keith Cash.
Well, he was wide open. Very reminiscent of the first half. A lot of wide open Pittsburgh Steelers receivers. The tight end just hooking right over the middle. Barney Bussey is the closest guy in coverage. David Fulcher also there, taking advantage of the dead spot in the zone. Brister with time finds the receiver.
To the run they go on first down. Merrill Hodge, who appeared to have a loose handle on the ball, trying to get a grip as he took on the Cincinnati defenders, and he gets to the 48-yard line. Got about 2. Merrill Hodge, one of the acknowledged team leaders of the Pittsburgh Steelers, with very strong opinions on where this team is headed and what it needs. He felt they had a great offense 3 years ago when Tom Moore was here as offensive coordinator.
And a lot of things have changed over the last 2 years, and one of the problems, these young guys don't seem to be able to contribute to this offense the way they want. Graham and Mills have had great difficulty. Worley.
Second down, a long 7. Pitch back. Leroy Thompson runs, and the Bengals come hitting hard as Thompson got to the 45-yard line. Tim Crumry and James Francis were the hitters. Buffalo goes tonight. If Houston loses at Cleveland, they're behind 14-10 now in the second half. Buffalo would have the home field locked up before they take the field tonight. Denver with a later start. Raiders, they go Monday night at New Orleans. Kansas City a loser yesterday at San Francisco. And a very big game, quite possibly, against the Raiders next Sunday, that most of you will see as part of an NBC doubleheader. Miami with a later start at San Diego. Jets losing, but just by 3 points. A Jets loss, a Miami win today, and Miami's a wild card team. Here's a throw, and coming back at the ball is Merrill Hodge.
Beautiful pattern run by Hodge. Went right up to the defensive back and then broke out.
Now, while we have a moment, let's swing on to New York to NFL Live. Here's Bob Costas.
All right, Don, here's the latest development in Atlanta. Dave Craig retreats to his end zone, heaves a long one, picked off by the Falcons' Tim McKyer, spins around, laterals it to Deion Sanders. And 52 yards later, Sanders is in the end zone for the touchdown that widens the lead to 19-0. The Falcons over the Seahawks and looking good for the playoffs.
That's Neon Deion primetime Sanders. Hodge turns it upfield. Merrill Hodge really controlling this drive with his play as he gets the Steelers down closer. Look at the National Conference playoff picture. Redskins are in and they have home field. Chicago will win another divisional title. As Mike Ditka said this week, I'm proud of the 10 years of football we've had in Chicago when I've been coach, and well, he should be. The Bears, if the Lions do lose at Green Bay, and they're losing right now, the Bears will win the division. Atlanta in position to win its way to an NFC Western title, and right now, as just pointed out, they're in command of Seattle by a 19-0 score. Warren Williams, who fumbled earlier with both arms on the ball, takes it inside the 25-yard line. Philadelphia continues to win over Dallas at Philadelphia, where Dallas has lost the last 8 trips in to Veterans Stadium. 49ers could run the table, Trump, win their last 6 games, finish 10-6, and still not make the playoffs.
Yeah, they need to have 4 teams lose in the next 2 weeks, this week and next week, to get into the playoffs. 10-6, and they don't make it.
Brister with a first down throw to the short-handed Lewis Lips. And he's to the 19-yard line.
To this point, a very impressive drive by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Really
started
is.
at their own 39. They've spread it around. John Jackson getting up slowly. Bubby Brister patting him on the padding. Hodge has been a big part of this drive. On the day, Hodge is 9 carries for 53 yards. Spread it around as the quarter is about to end.
We've seen this from the Steelers before today, driving down close and then blowing the scoring opportunity. It's a tie game, 10-10, and that'll do it for 3 quarters of play as the Bengals have rallied from 10 points down to tie it up as we go to the final 15 minutes, maybe longer. Sam White and Chuck Noll. Will it be their final confrontation as head coaches of these two teams? I think not. I think they'll both be coaching at White's at Cincinnati and Noll at Pittsburgh next season.
We agree there. We agree.
Maybe some changes in
the coaching staffs, yes.
Under command.
I agree.
Now to open the 4th quarter, the Steelers in this tie game go 2nd down and 5. Brister throws, man is open, touchdown Steelers. Keith Cash.
They set that up beautifully, Don. They want David Fulcher in coverage. Does not cover. Normally there for tackling. Fulcher has not had a good year. That's a 19-yard reception. Fulcher scores on an interception, gives up a touchdown. That's an easy pattern run by Cash. Nice throw by Bubby Brister. 6 easy points.
So with Big David taketh away, he giveth back. He ran an interception in for the first touchdown. Now he's beaten for the go-ahead score by the Steelers as they take a 17-10 lead at the opening of the 4th quarter.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Acura Automobiles. Experience precision-crafted performance. By Canon, the official camcorder of Little League Baseball. By the Diamond Tennis Bracelet. This Christmas, give her the gift of love, diamonds. And by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
Anderson kicks off as we're back at Three Rivers Stadium. It's a tough one to handle, and you're well advised to down that ball, which they do. A rookie, Shane Garrett, watched it roll and then downed it. So Anderson, both these kickers have been hitting those ground balls downfield intentionally, looking for people on this cold day to have trouble handling them.
Last 19 yards to Cash first. Touchdown of his career.
265 total yards from on offense to just 125 for the Bengals.
Bengals have only thrown for 85 yards, now trailing 17-10. I suggest they try to improve that.
They've only rushed for 40. Boomer's going to be throwing, though, to start this drive. 1st and 10. Right to the run he goes, and he breaks it with Harold Green getting out. As they set the wide receivers near side, and then Harold Green broke it to the far side for a 14-yard gain.
All very key to the Bengals' success is the ability to pull the defensive backs and linebackers up, run the ball, drive them to the line of scrimmage. David Little finally knocks him out of bounds after a 14-yard pickup. And those hard play-action fakes work on the defensive backs. Look at the total yards. Quite a disparity.
These aggressive Steelers safeties aligning to blitz. Everett keeps dancing up, giving Esiason something to think about. Now he pulls back. First down throw. It is caught at the 44-yard line. Eddie Brown is the man with his hands on the ball. And David Johnson was the man who was covering, as Eddie Brown now has 5 catches today, and he has 54 for the season.
One of the amazing things about this Bengal offense, Don, is their ability to call just about any play inaudible from the line of scrimmage. That's very rare and very unusual in the NFL. They've got their entire offense available with Boomer Esiason standing right there.
Last season, the Steelers had the number 1 defense in the NFL. This year it's rated number 20. As Barber is running, turning it outside, And turning it upfield, and Barber gets out of bounds inside the 45-yard line.
Oh, I thought he made a mistake. He had enough yardage at the spot where he made the catch to just lean forward and get the first down. Generally, receivers are taught, instructed, don't go backwards, but he does right here. And then he gets a nice block outside by Tim McGee, helps him out, and he does pick up the first down.
The Bengals' dismal season, 2-12, includes an 0-7 record on the road. Their 2 wins over Cleveland and the Giants at Riverfront Stadium. Another powerful run by Harold Green, who came in averaging 4.8 yards a rush.
Set alert, set alert. They're going right to the line of scrimmage. They're going to try to get a quick playoff here.
They'll try to get in a quick Dr. Pepper 10-minute ticker.
See who wins. Now the Steelers made a substitution, so the Bengals slowed it down.
Bengals ranked 14th in the NFL in offense, although they don't look it today for the most part. James Brooks takes on Steelers. And David Little, number 50, an inside backer, hit him head on. James Brooks has been pretty close to a Hall of Fame player through his career, Trump, although his production way off this season.
Greatest trade the Cincinnati Bengals have ever made. They traded Pete Johnson to San Diego for James Brooks.
1984.
But the problem now, as you see his career numbers as a Bengal, is that he's too little to block. He blocks hard, but it just tears him up. So when you have one running back in there, it's going to be Brooks or it's going to be Green. When you have two, it's not going to be the combination of those two, Brooks and Green.
Brooks only weighs 180 pounds. He's at the top of your screen as Esiason looks to throw. He's got to hurry it. He gets it off to Rodney Holman, and he's down to the 28-yard line. On a 2nd down and 8 play, the gain was good for only about 4 yards.
Hardy Nickerson on the tackle there.
You're saying that big Rodney Holman, he'll even ice fish if there's no fresh water that's open.
Given the opportunity, you look at the defensive ranking. At this point, you wonder if 1990 was the aberration. Number 1 defense in the league.
Until they were taken apart by Carlson in that game at Houston.
Yeah. Great pass defense last year. Bengals today 1 of 9 in 3rd down conversions. Fumble.
They need 4. This will set up a long Jim Breach field goal try into the swirling wind. Breach is coming out.
This is a new center, Mike Arthur. Looks like the ball comes up low. Boomer never gets his hand on it, and it's kicked around by several people. Ken Moyer, Boomer Esiason, able to fall on it. Now again, watch where Jim Breach is going to kick here. That's the second base sliding box there for the Pittsburgh Pirates. That looks a little slick to me.
48-yarder. As we mentioned, he hit that 50-yarder at Joe Robbie Stadium Monday night. Again, it looked like the ball might have been tipped because it's way short. So the Bengals drive comes up short. The Steelers hold to a 17-10 lead, and they take over the ball. He knew right away. No good.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call Domino's Pizza right now, and you'll be enjoying a hot, delicious pizza when the game is over.
Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Three River Stadium, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 10:40 to go in the game. The Steelers with the ball on a 7-point lead. They go back to the run to Merrill Hodge, who keeps on pounding away at the Bengal defense. Crumry was the lead tackler, along with Leon White.
This is certainly the position you want to start running the ball, and running the ball a lot, as I see Worley come into the ball game.
Hodge has been very effective, Trump. 10 carries for 57 yards.
There's Joe Walton on the sideline, the offensive coordinator here. I asked Chuck Noll last year why he hired Joe Walton. Said he thought his offense was very difficult to prepare for. But what resulted last year and this year is it's been very difficult for the Steelers to prepare for, not the opponent.
Second down and 6. Here's Worley breaking it. Head over heels as Worley is out close to a first down. Joe Walton with a tradition, his family steeped in Pittsburgh football. Both he and his dad were standout players at the University of Pittsburgh. Joe was an All-American. I believe his dad was, and his son Tiger's a quarterback there now.
Yeah, look at this kid. If this kid can ever, if the Pittsburgh Steelers could give Tim Worley one thing, maturity, this guy may rewrite the record book for rushing the ball for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Perfect player for the perfect team. Although in Joe Walton's offense, they're not as aggressive as they used to be. But with Tim Worley as the running back, as they're going to call a timeout, he can light up the scoreboard here for Pittsburgh. But he's got a lot of growing up to do.
Timeout on the field with 9:07 to play. Joe Walton's offense going to the power game now. Going right at the Bengals defense. Steelers holding to a 17-10 lead. Warren Williams now in the backfield along with Merrill Hodge. Spread out by Brister. He has a problem.
Oh,
intercepted. Barney Bussey. Right off Brister at midfield.
Why did he throw it? You know, Chuck Knox gave us a line a couple of weeks ago when we did Seattle. He said some of these quarterbacks have their ego in their arm. Bubby Brister is one of those guys. He thinks he can get this ball in here. James Francis in his face should not have been thrown. Very poor mechanics throwing it, and you just give the Bengals another chance.
Barney Bussey gets the interception, but credited to James Francis. He was in Brister's face, forcing that errant throw.
Why were they throwing anyway?
They're wondering that now as the Bengals have it back, down by 7, and Harold Green breaks ahead to the 45-yard line of the Steelers.
Wasn't that last play for Pittsburgh 3rd and 1?
Yes.
What are you doing throwing it? Give it to Worley, tell him to hang on. I got to give the Bengals enough chances to get right back in this ball game.
Stick put on by Carnell Lake as he comes up and hits Harold Green head on. As we look at the Dr. Pepper 10-minute ticker.
10-8. Philadelphia leads 10-8.
Dallas inching back into that.
Inching is her right word.
At one point, Dallas led 5-0. Packers continue to lead the Lions, and the Patriots continue to lead the Jets by field goal margins. Bengals need 5 yards. They've converted only 1 of 10 previous third downs.
James Brooks.
He's got it, and he's got the first down to the 37-yard line.
That was a coverage mismatch. They had Brooks alone there with 4 wide receivers down, and here comes the set alert. Pittsburgh trying to make a replacement. Oh, they got an injury. Johnson on the field. See Brooks from the back of the line of scrimmage. 53 is the guy who's trying to make the coverage, and Brian Hinkle can't possibly do that. James Brooks has got a free run through the defense there. Good call by the offense. Oh, that interception looks big now, huh? Another breath of life for the Bengals offense here.
Both quarterbacks have thrown 2 interceptions today. Brister's first was run back for a touchdown. David Johnson down on the field.
That was not a good choice by Bubby Brister on that play. And to this point, until that interception, he had played very, very well. Shown a certain amount of guts by running the ball, running the offense well. But a poor choice on that one. And I don't know why on 3rd and 1 you're throwing it.
Bubby Brister for the season has now thrown 7 touchdown passes and 9 interceptions. Neil O'Donnell, when he was in getting his first chance to play, threw for 11 touchdowns against just 7 interceptions. That's the thing that impressed a lot of people about O'Donnell is that very, very few quarterbacks when they first play in this league have a plus ratio in TD throws to interceptions at the outset. Bradshaw's was horrendous. Then it got real good.
Real good. Blitz.
Ball comes in high as Esiason was under a blitz. David Little was coming hard. Tim McGee was his intended receiver. Rod Woodson was covering.
Just a little bit high on the temperatures. You want it in the frame of the body for the receiver to catch.
Next week, the Bengals go home for their final game of the season against the New England Patriots, and that won't be easy. The Patriots, a vastly improved football team. On 2nd and 10, Esiason stands in, takes a look, drills the ball, but he's too far in front of Eddie Brown.
Oh, looked like Richard Shelton had the arm as Boomer Esiason is down. Personal foul against Pittsburgh. Downfield, didn't see the hit on Boomer Esiason, but this is a first down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 37 defense. Way hit. 15 yards, first down.
Larnell Lake. Now you can't go to the head of the quarterback. See what happens. Ooh, that was definitely late. No question about that. And
beneficiaries of that poor decision by Carnell Lake. Down by 7. They go to the run. Green turns it outside. Keith Willis, the 10-year veteran from Northeastern in Boston, and Carnell Lake make the tackle. Willis, a big part of this football team, and McNally, the offensive line coach of the Bengals, has long lamented he's a guy we just can't seem to block. Keith Willis.
I liked his comment yesterday. You know, he said that Chuck Noll has not lost this team for all the years that they've been there, and this is the most frustrating year for Chuck Noll. He said Chuck Noll has not lost this team even at 5 and 9.
I said the other thing Noll is expert at is deflecting the criticism. When the team's doing poorly, he puts it on himself.
Has always taken the blame here.
Green runs the ball down to the 20-yard line on a 2nd down and 12 play. Brian Hinkle is the tackler along with David Little.
I don't think there's any doubt with 5:49 to go and trailing by 7. This is a 2-down area. The Bengals have made a substitution here, so the defense is allowed to make a substitution. Let's see what they brought in here. They've got 4 wide receivers. James Brooks in the backfield. Last time this worked with a pass to James Brooks, Brian Hinkle was the man in coverage. See if they try it again. 2 of 11 on 3rd down conversions for the Bengals.
Esiason looks like he could take it himself. He throws on the run. It's incomplete. A hard thrown ball, and now a penalty marker comes in after the play.
Rod Woodson hit him. I see a hat. I don't see a flag. Am I missing the flag?
Yeah, there's definitely a flag down from it. It flew high from the back judge.
Yeah, the back judge is missing his hat.
Personal foul against the Steelers.
An interception starts the drive. 2 penalties keep it alive. There's Eddie Brown. Now Woodson will come from the back. He was definitely in bounds. He was not out of bounds.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 26 defense after the play. After distance.
Call.
First down.
Very tough call. Well, that's one they'll replay a lot if the Bengals win and score here and tie this game. Chuck Noll not happy with the call. Eddie Brown was in bounds. He's fair game. 2 big penalties in this drive against Pittsburgh, huh?
Real big ones. But the Bengal offense has not been in the end zone today. Our only touchdown, a Fulcher interception, and subsequent return of 27 yards.
Look, it's Crawford, 76, telling Whitlicombe what to do on the play.
Hit somebody. Here's a throw. Incomplete.
Caddis was the intended receiver. Carnell Lake was right there.
Wearing that famed number 84. Worn by Bob Trumpy so long and so well as a Bengal.
Didn't wear the same size. And 2, I never got my jersey dirty. Oh, wait a minute. This may come back. That may be a catch. The ground can't cause a fumble. He had that ball and it was knocked out when he hit the ground. Watch again.
It's pretty interesting.
Great. Well, it looked like his foot was down and his knee was down, but there's no review here.
I don't think so either. Handoff. Green turns it up and is taken down. David Johnson makes the stop. The game clock now becoming a factor as we're down inside 5 minutes to play. Steelers lead at 17-10.
You know, the Bengals have tried that corner, that 28 grace play that they run, and the Steelers have done a great job of shutting down that particular play. James Brooks comes in. He's the better receiver of the 2 running backs. See if Scrappard, 76. Yes, he's telling Whitlecombe again, number 60, what to do on the play.
3rd and goal from the 7.
Blitz.
Esiason fires. Incomplete. And 4th down arises.
You got to go for it. Oh, he's saying kick the field goal.
If you're going to win, you got to score twice. 4:12 to go.
Yep. Hoping for an onside kick recovery, a fumble, something.
And Breach is real good at bouncing that ball on an onside kick.
Yes, he is. Although Lee Johnson is the kickoff man, I agree with you. Breach is very expert at that. Well, this is a tough spot of that ball, Don. Right next to the pitcher's mound. See there, right on the edge of it?
Good call. It was a tough spot because it went wide. And the Steeler defense holds after the interception thrown by Brister.
Little rubbing it in there by Keith Willis. Some comment to Jim Breach and to Lee Johnson.
Just wide right. So the Bengals remain down by 7, but the Steelers have the ball again when we come back. Jim Breach, the good news, he has scored in 180 consecutive NFL games, a record. The bad news, he has missed 3 today. And the Steelers are leading the game by 7 points. They'll go to the power game again now to Merrill Hodge as the Bengals hunt the ball. Now while we have a moment, let's go back to NFL Live in New York. Bob?
4, 3, 2.
All right, the Falcons pouring it on. The Seahawks got a couple of John Casey field goals to close to 19-6. But then Chris Miller goes up top with this 30-yarder to Michael Haynes. For Miller, his second TD pass of the game. Haynes closing in on 1,000 yards in receptions for the year. And the Falcons closing in on the playoffs, 26-6.
Meanwhile, at Pittsburgh, the Steelers huddling with a 17-10 lead and 3:59 to play in the game. As we look at the Dr. Pepper 10-minute ticker, Cleveland continues to lead Houston, and that, of course, if it holds up, would give Buffalo the home field before they take the field tonight against the Indianapolis Colts in Indiana. Dallas has now rallied from behind and leads Philadelphia in the 4th quarter. And New England holding to that 3-point lead over the Jets. The Lions have erupted, though, and have gone in front of Green Bay.
Fumble.
Penalty marker also.
Goodness gracious, Merrill Hodge puts it on the ground. The Bengals recover.
With 3:51 to play, but let's see what the penalty is.
That was thrown by the referee, too. Normally he's looking for holding and holding only.
Tripping, number 94 offense. It is illegal to trip the ball carrier as well as anybody else.
There's no 94 in the
Fumble
offense.
recovery by
that.
Cincinnati, penalty declined, first down.
Jeff
Brady is a
yeah.
linebacker for the Steelers.
Yeah, he's. Oh, wait a minute. If they mess this up, let's see what happens here. Oh, 94 of the Bengals
Was tripped.
Williams is the guy who trips the ball carrier. Gordon McCarter's got to play wrong. Pittsburgh should keep the ball. 94 is for Cincinnati, and Chuck Nola's yelling it.
Way to call it, Trumpy. You.
Tripping, number 94, defense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So the Bengal defense has to come back out on the field after coming up with the, watch right there, 94, puts his right leg up, trips Merrill Hodge, and actually kicks the football out of his hand. The recovery by Leo Barker, 53.
Trumpy can spot that in a second. He tripped more people than he blocked.
No. I held him. I didn't trip him.
So they get renewed life. Merrill Hodges' fumble is now negated. And the Steelers send their offense back out.
Sam White's just standing on the sideline over there on the field asking for an explanation from Gordon McCarter.
I'll be looking at this again.
There's no question that Alfred Williams tripped him.
Sam White's talking about his losing team playing the Steelers' losing team.
10 yards, first down.
But we know that misery does not love company. This isn't fun this season, and there's a call that might have given his team a chance to tie the game. But instead, the tripping call on rookie Alfred Williams, their number 1 draft choice, gives the Steelers the ball, and it's moved 10 yards further downfield to the 30.
And continuing to jaw with the official on the sideline there, but I mean, Gordon McCarter just had it turned around. They straightened it out.
Right back to Merrill Hodge. A 14-yard gain.
Watch both of them pull. Terry Long, John Jackson, 65. Pittsburgh Steelers been running this place since Chuck Noll got here in 1969. They've always had great pulling guards in this franchise's history. And they like that underneath handoff, weak side sweep. Used to give it to Franco. Used to give it to Rocky Blyer.
Hodge continues to average over 5 yards a carry. 71 yards on 13 carries. Over 6 yards a carry now, and here's the handoff. Right ahead goes Warren Williams. You remember he fumbled earlier, and ever since he's run with 2 arms on the ball. You know, they had to overrule the fumble, Trump, I think, demoralized the Bengals because they're really getting ripped open now.
Yeah, the guy that they have not put back on the field, Pittsburgh, is Worley. They want nobody coughing the ball up. Williams, as you said, both arms on the ball. They're getting in big bunches now, and you're right. That just took the fight out of Cincinnati's defense. They've got to run a play before the 2-minute warning here.
Hodge runs it down on a first down play to the 40-yard line of the Bengals. And that brings us down to the 2-minute warning. They called a timeout. Look at another one.
Good idea. Going to stop the clock now. They'll also stop it at the 2-minute warning. Bengals still clinging to life here.
But the Bengals are down to 1 timeout remaining. So if the Steelers get a first down, this is over. Time permitting, we'll send you to the Houston-Cleveland game. As you see, the Oilers have now gone in front of the Browns, 17-14. Warren Moon with a touchdown pass to Haywood Jeffries from 2 yards out.
Detroit pouring on. Green Bay, they're outdoors. Do their first win outdoors.
Detroit is assured of at least a wild card playoff spot if they should win today. And if they do win today, it'll be the first time a Detroit team has had 11 wins since 1962. Second down, a long 5. Worley runs. And that brings us down to the 2-minute warning with 1:58 to play. One timeout remaining for the Cincinnati Bengals, 1:58 remaining to be played. As the Pittsburgh Steelers, who beat the Bengals in overtime at Riverfront Stadium on November 10th. On a touchdown pass from Neil O'Donnell to Eric Green. Now the Steelers looking to get a first down and run out the clock if they can. This is third down and a long 3. Brister rolling out. He throws the ball to Hodge, who's just short of the first down. Merrill Hodge coming back at the ball is out of bounds at about the 34-yard line.
Well, I don't know about that play because 1, he's out of bounds.
Yep.
2, he's short. It brings up a big choice, and it looks like they're going to go for it anyway. They're going to go for it.
You get a feeling that number 33 is going to get it.
Well, but again, though, if the Bengals stop Pittsburgh, the clock stops because of the change of possession. So that play helped Bengals a lot if they can stop them on this play.
If the Steelers get this first down, it is in all probability the ball game.
I don't see any flags. I just hear a whistle.
Whistles came before the snap.
Charge timeout.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, number 2, 40-second timeout.
So the Steelers are given a 40-second timeout. It'll be fourth down when we come back.
Now, last play from behind the offense. Merrill Hodge turns around, calls timeout. Gordon McCarter grants the timeout. Bubby Brister doesn't know what's going on. I'm not sure what happened there, but they had the right personnel on there. Nobody else came in. I'd say this is a key play.
And I don't think they'll be calling a quarterback roll. Adrian Cooper in motion. They go to Hodge, and he dives ahead.
Fumble. No, I thought the ball came loose. They were stripping at it, pulling at it.
They were sure trying to get a fumble, but the Steelers hold on, and Merrill Hodge plunges for a first down.
Did I just see a final that the New England Patriots beat the Jets 6-3?
I didn't see that. Would it come up on the scoreboard?
I think I just saw a final that the Patriots beat the Jets 6-3.
We'll check that. As we look at the Dr. Pepper 10-minute ticker, less than 2 minutes to go at Cleveland. That is a final. New England beating the Jets. So if Miami wins at San Diego in a later start, Miami is a wild card team and the Jets are out. If Miami loses, the Jets at Miami next weekend on NBC Sports next Sunday will decide the final playoff spot, final wild card in the AFC. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. Coordinating producer of NFL football, John Faratzis. The producer of today's game, John McGinnis. Director, Richard Klein. And our thanks to spotters Tim Fogarty and Mike McGinley. And on stats, George Jordan and DJ Wilson.
The Bengals are going to fall to 2-13. That is their worst record ever.
Technical Director, Pat Trinkley. Associate Director, Al Wohl. Production Associate, Ed Fibishoff. Technical Manager Jerry Cannizzaro. We thank them all and our excellent NBC technicians as now the Steelers look to put the lock on the game. Going to the run and back to Merrill Hodge. He's down to the 32-yard line with 1:25 to play, and the Bengals, I think, just called their final timeout.
Well, Hodge has been a big guy today, Don. I needed somebody to step forward. He's done an awful lot, made some key catches, also run the ball, 16 carries, 80 yards. And for that, I think he deserves to be the ablest player of the game, don't you?
He is the man. The Avis We Try Harder Award for the player of the game goes to Merrill Hodge of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He caught 4 passes for 33 yards, rushing 16 times for 79 yards. As the Steelers move to their 6th win of the year, they'll return home to close out the season against another big rival, the Cleveland Browns, next Sunday here at Three Rivers Stadium. Chuck Noll's team playing hard, tough football for 4 quarters, having to overcome a lot of mistakes, and their defense turned things around on a number of occasions after Steeler turnovers and kept the Bengals out of the end zone, as Cincinnati's offense failed to score a touchdown today. Their only touchdown, an interception returned by Fulcher. Now the Steelers go into their protect mode. Brister downs the ball, as the Bengals are now powerless to stop the clock as we take a final look at the Dr. Pepper 10-minute ticker. Houston and Cleveland still playing, with the Oilers in the lead by 3 points. Dallas now with a 2-point lead over the Eagles in the 4th quarter at Philadelphia. Atlanta, with another win next week, wins the NFC West. Detroit still in the hunt with the Bears for that final for the NFC Central Championship. Bears with a magic number of 1. Plus today, the Bears would have the division, but the Lions have come from behind against the Packers. Hodge downs it again, and we're down to 35 seconds to play, and the clock ticking. So the Bengals' record falls to a worst ever 2-13. And still a game to play against the Patriots, who won today against the Jets. Now we'll take a look at today's Cannon Camcorder replay of the game.
This is the play that was the winning touchdown. It goes to the young tight end, Cash, in a design play that works perfectly. They get Cash covered by David Fulcher. Fulcher is not a big coverage guy. Beautifully thrown by Bubby Brister. 19 yards in the winning touchdown.
So the final numbers are in, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are the winners, 17-10, defeating the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll be back at Three Rivers Stadium after this.